to the hatch seals themselves on the Poisk module. Chub will be the first to exit the Poisk module, adapting to space conditions on this, his first spacewalk. The two cosmonauts then will take out of the Poisk airlock two bundles of hardware, including the Parus nanosatellite, as well as the other hardware that they'll be using for the inspection, valve closing, and documentation of the external radiator on the Naoka module as they move into place a short time from now.
All right, so I have installed it already.
Today's spacewalk is expected to last about 7 hours in duration. The first 3 hours or so will be devoted to the work to reconfigure a series of valves to isolate the external radiator that leaked out on October 9th from the prime cooling loops that are servicing the body radiators on the Naoka module itself that are operating just fine.
Okay, Napor is outside and the electrical engines are intact. Oleg, we're getting video from your cameras. Inaudible. Okay, now you can connect it. Okay, can you move the engine away from me? Nikolai, when you have a minute, turn on helmet cameras. I cannot do it right now. Okay, Napor is outside. Copy. Okay, Nikolai, head this way. Okay, let me turn around. Looks like we got everything we needed out of the airlock.
The cosmonauts reporting that all of their equipment now outside of the Poisk airlock, that they will move over to the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module.
Talking. Napor.
And peering through the structure of the International Space Station, a view of the two Russian cosmonauts as they continue to secure all of the equipment and the payloads that they're in the process of moving down to the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module.
So did you manage to secure?
Do you see it? No.
Есть? Нету.
And now? No. And this one? This one is illuminated now. So I see one green LED, but I cycled it several times. Let me try one more time. Okay. Now you have two greens. Okay, so I turned it on. Let's try it one more time. No, Nikolai has no LEDs illuminated. How about the lights?
Светильники-то работают.
Yes, the lights are on.
Я бы не включил, светильники тоже не работали, да?
All right, because, you know, without activating REBA, we wouldn't have had the lights operational. The one that's above your forehead, the LED, is now green. Yes, it is green. But again, it's blinking. It turned itself off, and now it's illuminated again. Okay.
This is Mission Control Houston, 1 hour, 13 minutes into the spacewalk. Kononenko and Chub about to make their way to the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module, setting up all of the equipment that they have removed from the Poisk module airlock, attaching it with the appropriate tethers, securing all of that equipment, a mini synthetic radar aperture science payload, and a device that will deploy a nanosatellite called Parus, a solar sail technology satellite. Once it is mounted on the body of Naoka a bit later in today's spacewalk.
Oleg? All right, I'm pushing the ring.
Once they are at Naoka and have secured the equipment at that point, the two cosmonauts will be preparing to do the work on the external radiator that leaked back on October 9th. Kononenko will move to the coolant fluid servicer, that's a coolant reservoir, at the Naoka module, while Chub positions himself at the interface where the external radiator is mounted on the body of Naoka itself. The external radiator is the one that leaked back on October 9th.
And it's not, make sure you're not
the Naoka module still being cooled, however, in normal fashion through its body radiators that it launched with back in May of 2010 on the STS-132 mission. The objective today is to isolate the external radiator from those coolant loops so that the prime radiator, the body radiator on Naoka, can continue to be operated in normal fashion to provide the coolant and the cooling capability necessary for the multipurpose laboratory module. The two cosmonauts working to configure valves that will isolate the leaked external radiator on Naoka from the rest of the module's thermal control system cooling loops.
I noticed that the second side is in the same config. All right, Nikolai.
We're at the 1 hour 45-minute mark into the spacewalk, the International Space Station, flying 260 miles over the Indian Ocean, moving from southwest to northeast.
19 in work. 6, 7, 8, 9. Row completed. Copy. Go for row 20. 20 in work. 6, 7, 8, 9. Row completed. Copy. Go for 21. 21 in work. 6, 7, 8, 9. Row completed. Copy. Go for row 22. 22 in work. 6, 7, 8, 9. Row completed. Copy. Go for row 23. 23 in work. 6, 7, 8, 9. Completed. Copy. Go for 24. 24 in work. 6, 7, 8, 9. Well completed. Copy. Nikolai, the subsequent turns on fluid connectors can cause the coolant to come out. Please be careful with that, and please make sure you're broadcasting your actions. All right, copy all, and you're go for row 25. 25 in work. 6, 7, 8, 9. Row completed. That's directed forward, right? Yes. Okay, I'm trying to take photos of the backside. Well, you know, the feeling is that those holes have very even edges, like they've been drilled through. There's lots of them. Copy. Speaking simultaneously. And they are spread in a chaotic manner, but literally lots and lots of them on the first panel. On the panel second from the hull, Is less damaged, but closer to the lower part, yes, there are some holes as well. Okay, copy.
Серег, я довольно сильно нажимаю.
I'm pressing with a fairly good force, but nothing happened. Before dawning, the suits, we checked everything, and both green LEDs were on. Even more drops. Actually, there is one more. Look at the second part. Yes. It's no longer just a drop, it's a flow. Yes, it's a pretty strong flow. I believe the towels will not be enough to remove it. Yes, you're right. Sergey, do you hear? Oleg, can you bring the camera for us to see? I'm extending Strela. Could I hold it? Yes, I'm doing my best holding it. I'm just, pushing it away from it, but it keeps retracting.
This is Mission Control Houston, 2 hours, 23 minutes into the spacewalk. You can see some coolant at the source of the leak on the external radiator that is emanating from the suspected leak area on that radiator, perhaps disturbed by the manipulation of the valves to isolate the radiator from the thermal control system loops that was accomplished a short time ago by Oleg Kononenko and Chub.
Reconnected but close, so let's hook it to this gap spanner. Are you holding it? No, not really. I want you to move a bit lower. Otherwise, the tether is on the way. Okay, now I reconnected the tethers, and now I need to rotate and go up.
You can see the coolant at the point where the leak was presumed to have emanated, while the two cosmonauts work to secure other equipment for the installation of scientific payloads on the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module.
No. A little bit higher. Everything? Okay, now have you seen it? No. No. Tell me, to the left, to the right? Up. Left and to the right. Left and up. But again, the tether will not let me go up.
This is Kononenko taking close-up documentation of the site of the leak of coolant from the external radiator on the multipurpose laboratory module.
The flow selector MLI flap opened. Okay, now it's back closed again. Sergey, let me change my tether attachment points. Okay. Well, I believe the towels will not be enough here. It looks like it. Do you see it now? Do you see it? Well, we do not see from our camera, but we see it from the ISS cameras. You see that huge bubble, and it increased in size. It was much smaller when we used the towels the first time. You see, there is a tether here, and the tether is all wet. The tether on the mobile link, the one that is connected to the handle of the attachment point. Oleg, any drops reached the Orlan? No. But yes, that tether actually hit my visor. Okay. So now Nikolai will help me to wipe it Off. Oleg, translate away from that area. Yes, that's what we're doing. What shall I do with the tether? Hold the wire tight. Move away.
This is Mission Control Houston. Just to recap, at the 2-hour, 29-minute mark in the spacewalk.
Well, right now we are terminated any steps of these activities. Go back to MRM2. But we need to secure the mobile link somehow. We'll think what to do with that while you'll be working on the next task. Almost? Okay, are you... did you grab it? Yes, I did. Now, you are perpendicular, and now it's perpendicular to the hull. Can you rotate it? Can you rotate in a parallel way? If I rotate it like this, does it go away from you? Well, right now it's on the support, normal to the hull. When you'll be done with this operation,
On this hose. All right. I took the imagery and I'm going to deactivate the camera. All right, we are watching this droplet. The droplet has stabilized, by the way. Well,
as we approach the 3-hour mark in today's spacewalk, the 2 crew members, still running ahead of the timeline, will now begin to take 2 scientific payloads, a miniature radar synthetic apparatus that will be used as a radar system. We'll attach it to the NAOCA multipurpose laboratory module, and then we'll attach a deployment device to NAOCA, in which is a nanosatellite called the Parus satellite that will be deployed. We'll unfold some sails to test solar sail technology. All that coming up in the second half of today's spacewalk that is expected to last about 7 hours in duration.
Items that the specialist asks you to check. It's right here.
The work with the external radiator is complete. The photo documentation of that radiator and its leak site also complete. That documentation now will be studied by the engineers on the ground to see what remedial action may be possible to fix the leak and to replenish coolant back into the loop that services that external radiator, which is used as a backup radiator for the primary cooling system for NAOCA, which is basically a body radiator that is mounted on the body itself of the module, and which it was launched back in May of 2010. The external radiator originally designed to provide additional cooling, backup cooling, for scientific payloads that will be
what do you want us to check?
Used inside the multipurpose laboratory module in the future.
Point your cameras onto the sides of the mini RSA, the long side of the RSA. Yeah, this is perfect. The SME wanted to...
so again, the work with the external radiator is complete.
Verify that everything
Additional leakage of coolant from the leak source was documented, and some of the droplets of coolant made its way toward Kononenko but his suit was wiped down along with his tools and one tether, and that tether was bagged. It will not be brought back inside the station.
That's okay.
And we keep translating. Copy.
У вас страховочный файл?
Use the safety tether. Yes, I can see it. All right, the sun is coming up. Well, I'm looking at the next attachment point, where to connect. Let me pull it away, and then it will be more convenient for you.
This is Mission Control Houston, 3 hours, 40 minutes into the spacewalk by Kononenko and Chub. You can see the two cosmonauts at the Naoka Multipurpose Laboratory Module. The golden or orange-colored device that they are working with is the miniature radar synthetic aperture device that will be mounted shortly on the body of Naoka. Just below the two cosmonauts is the extended external radiator that leaked coolant back on October 9th, and which earlier today during the spacewalk was isolated from the rest of Naoka's thermal control system through the two cosmonauts opening and closing a series of valves. After they completed that work, a blob or bubble of coolant was noticed at the leak site on that radiator and was documented by Kononenko close up. The blob liberated some flakes of coolant in his direction. He wiped down one of his safety tethers and his tools. The tether was bagged. It will not be brought back inside the International Space Station, and additional precautionary measures will be taken to further wipe down the two cosmonauts' suits before they re-enter the Poisk airlock at the completion of today's spacewalk.
All right, guys, relax, rest, and enjoy the view. That's exactly what we're doing.
3 hours, 48 minutes into the spacewalk, the two cosmonauts are going to take a breather here. You can see the mini radar system that will be unfurled once it's installed on a payload adapter on Naoka. And on the right of your screen, the big experiment airlock that launched along with the external radiator on the Rassvet module on the STS-132 mission in May of 2010. That airlock and the radiator were installed on two consecutive Russian spacewalks back in May of this year.
You guys, you seem to be quite active right now. We cannot copy you. What are you saying? You're having a very active race. Well, right now we are looking at the eye of the hurricane. Actually, we see the eye forming. It's already formed. Where are you flying? Above the Kurils Islands. Oh, okay. Do you see? Yeah, can you see the Kranovsky volcano? It's right there. Yes, really, that's what it is, Kranovsky volcano. I cannot turn around because you pull that thing. That's correct. Your reference point is the target. The adapter must be installed on the target. So, and you have to have markings match. And yes, they match. Unintelligible. Well, just in case. Is your side pressed against the seat? I'm positioning myself at the moment. And for me to use my hand like that, let me do it. Because I do not see anything behind my own hand. I will do it one more time. Again, I can see my hand now. Are you holding it? Yes. Yes, but my hand actually blocks my line of sight. You can't see what I'm doing. Okay, looks like it's done. I'll keep pressing it. Yes, if you...
As we approach the 4-hour mark in today's spacewalk, you're watching Nikolai Chub in the blue stripes on his Orlan suit, and just below him, Oleg Kononenko wearing the suit with the red stripes, as they are attaching this mini radar system with a synthetic aperture to a payload adapter on the NAOKA multipurpose laboratory module. At the very top of your screen is an experiment airlock that was moved from the Rosviet module upon which it was launched 13 years ago and installed on NAOKA back in May during a Russian spacewalk by Sergei Prokopiev and Dmitry Petelin.
It's still moving. So I don't know whether it's okay or not to start turning. What is actually moving, the adapter or the wrench? Well, the adapter, or rather both. Is the wrench supposed to remain on the surface? Yes, it has to be on the surface. There should be a small gap, actually. I'm holding it, but... So it looks like the wrench actually came out. Nikolai, look, when you were rotating the wrench, there is a manual drive, and you can see some extra rotation. Yes, the shaft is rotating. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's check behind the cord. No, it's kind of strange. It's not coming out, not falling out, but it's still loose. Well, I guess this has something to do with the ratchet cycle. Okay, we are turning clockwise. Yes. If I hold you like this, is this convenient for you? Okay, clockwise. Yes. Inaudible. 4 and 6 is just 3 and 4 are on my side. D mate. 2, 3, 4, 6. Affirmative. All right, I am working with number 6. Not that simple. It's not convenient to work with the left hand. Number 3. Copy. I demated numbers 3 and 4.
Have a look. That pin that you used for the latch, make sure that those pins don't escape and that they would not escape. Okay, 1, 2, 3. On the side of the handrail and the handle, I see 4 locks with 4 pins, and all these pins are in their nominal locations. Also, do you see all 4? No, in total there are 4.
This is Mission Control Houston. On the left side of your screen is Nikolai Chub in the first spacewalk of his career. On the right, with the red stripes, Oleg Kononenko, veteran cosmonaut, now conducting the 6th spacewalk in his career as they monitor the installation of the radar system that you see, the orange-colored device on a payload adapter on the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module.
Amazing. There is the moon, the ocean, and we managed to get everything secured, and we can continue working the timeline. And what about the wire tie? Could you try and hide it as well? I've got a little bit too many items here, so I'm not sure if I can do anything with the wire tie. I see that. Let's see how they are marked. How do you want us to disconnect them? Does it matter? In what order? Any order that's convenient for you. All right. Just 4, 3, 2. 2, 6. 3, 6. All right, hold on. I'm looking at, there we go. The connector is open. In 20 seconds, you're going to go into orbital night. We see it already. And the sun is down. All right, number 4 has been connected. Copy. Nikolai, how is the lock here? Is it in the way? Do you want me to tie something up meanwhile?
Pulling. It looks like the spring was impacted by the temperature. I'm shaking it. All right. Here it comes. Do I need to push it? No? Beautiful. I can see it coming out. I can see the launch. Yes, we are monitoring it. Right now, we are doing the video shoot as we requested. Okay. Where are the panels? Will they deploy? Or would it happen later? In 5 minutes after launch, it will start deploying.
The Parus solar sail technology satellite deployed at 5 hours 31 minutes into the spacewalk at 6:20 p.m. Central Time. As the International Space Station flew over the Central Pacific Ocean.
We want to monitor the satellite from the ground. Yes, just like this. Okay, just like this. We can see it. Oleg, if it's convenient for you, please turn the camera on to record everything. That's your chest camera. I don't see the red LED anymore. It's shining beautifully under the sun rays. Yes. Yes, it is a beautiful view under the sun. I keep monitoring. In the meantime, we begin to deploy mini ERSA monoblock. Okay. Then I'll turn the camera off, right? Well, at least I'll try, because it's hard for me to reach it with my hand. Is it chasing us? Okay, main ERSA started movement. Copy. Oleg, can you lift your head up so you will not be blocking the view? Is it okay now? Yes, that's good. Thank you.
Again, this is the Parus nanosatellite for solar sail technology that was spring ejected from a deployment mechanism on a handrail on the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module. The solar sail arrays, if you will, are scheduled to deploy automatically in about a minute and a half or so.
Do you see the video now? Are you recording? Yes. What about the monoblock? Mini ERSA is in the process of deployment. Yes, the panel is deployed. One panel. Just one? Yes, so far.
While this is going on, that conversation refers to the panels on the mini radar synthetic aperture system that was installed on a payload adapter on Naoka about an hour or so ago. The panel segments are slowly deploying as planned.
Коля, are you watching? Station Moscow, space to ground 1. Moscow station. Yes, Kostya, go ahead and space to ground 1. I am trying to ensure that you have a view of both the model and the satellite, but I can only see the satellite. Shall I keep it as is? No, well, I'm looking back to EVA. I'm looking at the monoblock panel, and I don't see it fully deployed. Yes, I cannot confirm the full deployment of the panel. I see it, both panels are next to each other. We saw the movement, how it was unfolding.
Oleg. We see it really clearly. Oleg, let's start with the uninstallation of the jettisoning device. All right, here is the
5 hours 42 minutes into the spacewalk, a very good view of the Parus nanosatellite for solar cell technology data collection. The two sail-type wings should have deployed by now and have not, as you can see in this view from station cameras. Russian flight controllers also waiting for the unfurling of the panels on the mini radar synthetic aperture device that was installed on the Naoka module a short time ago.
Nikolai, stand by. Not ready yet, and we cannot understand what you're saying. I am on space to ground 1. In the center 1. Well, we see it on our end as well. So you need to get back to the monoblock and fix that.
Russian flight controllers confirming that the 4 panels on that radar system have unfurled. They're checking the alignment of those panels.
The launching unit and just go there with without all the items that we're carrying. Got this luck?
This is Mission Control Houston. Just to recap, Kononenko and Chub now 6 hours, 6 minutes into their spacewalk, wrapping things up. The first task was for the 2 cosmonauts to configure a series of valves to isolate the external radiator on the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module that developed a leak of its coolant back on October 9th. They did so, isolating that external radiator, which is used for backup for science payloads in the future in Naoka. The primary cooling for the module itself comes from the body radiators that are wrapped around the module that it launched with back in 2010, before the external radiator was deployed, moved from the Rassvet module, which it was launched on in 2010, to the Naoka module during an earlier spacewalk in May of this year. Kononenko did an up-close and personal photo documentation of the area where the leak occurred back on October 9th and detected a bubble of coolant that had formed at the leak site, possibly perturbated by the valve operations that could have changed pressure in the area or some other circumstance that caused a bubble of coolant to form. The resulting bubble spewed some flakes of coolant in his direction. Some got on one of his safety tethers, which was removed and placed in a bag not to be brought back inside the station.
There we are.
He wiped down his suit, as he will again, along with Chub, before they re-enter the Poisk module to wrap up the spacewalk.
The crew log back.
Other mitigating work will be conducted after the repressurization of the airlock, including the activation of an air filtration system that would also be used to remove any trace contaminant particulate that may still reside in the airlock as a result of any flakes of coolant that were liberated from the leak site on the external radiator.
How it is secured, and if it is secured, well, that
the two cosmonauts installed a device called a mini radar system with a synthetic aperture to a payload adapter on Naoka. Then there's a good view. 2 of the 4 panels fully deployed. There's apparently 1 panel that is partially deployed. The 2 cosmonauts are going to try to assist in unfurling that first of the 4 panels on the radar system.
So, are you going to be?
And they installed a deployment mechanism on a handrail on Naoka, from which a nanosatellite called the Parus satellite, Parus, the Russian word for sail, was spring ejected. Its solar sails were supposed to have deployed about 5 minutes after its deployment, and the last time we saw the satellite, those sails had not deployed, and we have received no confirmation from Russian flight controllers that they did in fact deploy.
Shall I move on? Yes. Move forward. You just have to move.
A bit difficult to discern, but the cosmonauts are in the vicinity of the payload adapter where the mini radar system with a synthetic aperture is deployed. 2 of the 4 panels fully deployed. It is believed that a 3rd panel also fully deployed. Panel 1 appeared to be partially deployed, and so the cosmonauts, as the final task for today's spacewalk, will try to coax that 4th and final panel into its full deployment configuration.
Do you know that the flexible handrail, which was supposed to be installed between 4128 and 4129, is not installed correctly? How is installed? Okay. Okay. Understand. Copy that. Inaudible. I didn't copy. If we install it in the correct configuration, that would be best. Yeah, we would be really grateful. Nikolai, no need to do so. Okay, I guess we can get it on the way back. So I'll press on. Let me turn it. The locks are different here on the pins.
Nikolai Chub continuing to attempt to fully unfurl panel 1 of the 4 panels on the mini radar system.
Are locked. But the panel didn't get there. And the locks have the following structure. I think this is panel 3. There are still pins, but they're not rounded. They're square. And panel 2, it looks as if they have a cradle and they go in there from the top, I guess. Can you point the cameras closer to the locks? On the right or on the left? Which one do you want? Whichever lock you're looking at, the one that's closest to you. On the right from your arm. Can you see it? Yes, just like that. Yes. I have a feeling that the mountain seats have a trigger, a mechanism that should engage a latch. The latch is disengaged. But I'm not sure if it's going to work out or not. Sergey, I'm going to hold the cable bundle with just one finger. Otherwise, I'm not just going to reach there. Oleg? Go ahead. Try to hold Nikolai's feet. No need to do so. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because I'm going to get additional momentum like that. The springs are quite nice here.
Six and a half hours into the spacewalk, Nikolai Chub continuing his efforts to try to fully deploy one of the 4 panels on the synthetic aperture radar system that was installed on the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module several hours ago.
Inaudible. Here. Yay. First one is open. First latch open. Excellent, Nikolai. Move on to the second one. Just to reiterate, all of them are closed. Now in closed possession. I'm going to have issues with latch number 3 for sure, because inaudible. Okay, I got it.
This is Mission Control Houston, 6 hours, 43 minutes into the spacewalk. Nikolai Chub gave it the old college try, repeatedly attempting to latch in place the 4th of 4 panels on the mini radar synthetic aperture system that unfurled a short time ago following the radar system's installation on a payload adapter on the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module. One of the 4 panels did not fully deploy, and so efforts were made by Chub to try to coax it into place and latch it down. Those efforts were not successful. So the crew has been instructed to close everything out, take inventory of their tools and tethers and other equipment, and start to make their way back to the Poisk airlock.
Shall we start translating from here? I mean, well, almost from the from below. Yes, right. Oleg, go ahead. When you reach the gap spanner, try to reach a foot restraint and try to remove more slack on the safety tether. I can't copy you well. What do you want me to try? While on the gap spanner, try to remove more slack. All right, but I'll try to translate here below. On the lower part, as far as I remember, is already taken care of. There is no slack remaining. If you try to hook to a different handrail, so it would be more rigid. I took a photo of the mobile link. Copy, Nikolai. Translate to us, too. I'm on it already.
There I am.
Once again, now that we're nearing the end of the spacewalk, before they re-enter the airlock itself, the two cosmonauts, as usual, will inspect their Orlan suits as they're about to do, and the tools used during the spacewalk, wiping off any coolant as may be necessary. The cosmonauts will also wipe down their suits after they are back inside with the hatch closed and the airlock is repressurized to further reduce the introduction of any trace contaminants into the space station environment. Additional filtration will be activated for about 24 hours inside the station to quickly scrub out the atmosphere of any remaining traces of contaminant.
I'm holding it.
And just to repeat, on the mini radar system, the aperture with the synthetic aperture antenna, 3 out of the 4 panels fully deployed, a 4th panel only partially deployed, but the preliminary analysis from the Russian specialists indicate that that will have no impact on future dynamic operations, including the upcoming U.S. spacewalk on Monday, October 30th, by Jasmine Mogbelli and Laurel O'Hara.
We cannot untie the wire tie. It is tied extremely tightly to the towel. So 45 degrees counter velocity vector, is that right? Shall we jettison it with the wire tie? You do not need to touch it, but you turn off the sublimator. Copy, I have it. So it's going to be 10-minute dry out. All right, let's adjust it here.
This is Mission Control Houston with statistics from today's spacewalk. Nikolai Chub and Oleg Kononenko went outside at 12:49 p.m. Central Time, 1:49 p.m. Eastern Time. This was the 268th spacewalk in support of space station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades. The 11th spacewalk staged out of the International Space Station this year, and the first for Expedition 70. For Oleg Kononenko, this was his 6th spacewalk. He now has totaled 39 hours and 54 minutes of spacewalking time. The first spacewalk for Nikolai Chub, of course, 7 hours and 41 minutes. That was today's total. The 268 spacewalks in support of space station activities since they first began in 1998 have now totaled 1,707 hours and 7 minutes. 1,707 minutes and 1,707 hours and 7 minutes. That's the equivalent of 71 days, 0 hours, and 7 minutes of spacewalking time. So those are your statistics for today's spacewalk by Oleg Kononenko and Nikolai Chub. The repressurization of the Poisk airlock is now underway. After repressurization, Kononenko and Chub will wipe down their Orlan suits one more time with towels that will be placed in bags, and an air filtration system will be activated to further eliminate and cleanse the atmosphere of the International Space Station before they open the hatch to re-enter the station. That filtration system will remain active for about 24 hours to further cleanse the station atmosphere and prevent any particulates from the coolant that leaked out from the external radiator on the Naoka module, first on October 9th, and then some residual coolant that formed in the form of a bubble at the leak site and was liberated during the course of the spacewalk. That will ensure that none of that coolant or any trace contaminants could damage space station hardware.
Pressure